Everyone, and welcome to this GIS report. I am your host, Laura Lee Dawson, Information Officer with the Ministry of Communications and Works. The BVI Taxi and Livery Commission and the BVI Tourist Board have joined together to design the Taxi Academy training module. Here to tell us all about this important venture are my two guests. I'll let them introduce themselves to you.
Faye Smith-Penn, Small Properties Accommodations Manager at the BVI Tourist Board.
Okay.
Damien Parsival, Director of the Taxi and Liveries Commission.
Okay, welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Percival, what was the idea behind the Taxi Academy?
The initial idea behind the Taxi Academy is the new Minister of Communication and Works held a meeting with our board and asked that we come up with a criteria for issuing new taxi licenses, bringing persons into the industry, improving the service in the industry, and improving the operators. So, along with the board and speaking with the tourist board, we decided to move away from the traditional training mechanism we had, because it seems while it works for some operators, it's not working for all. We have a tremendous amount of complaints that we get from guests speaking to all facets of the industry, customer service, the way they speak to the guests, the way they handle the guests, the way they treat the guests. So we felt it was an avenue to change this module and create something that we feel could work for a wider aspect of operators.
Okay. And how many of these training sessions have you had so far?
Well, since we're moving into this new academy, this would be the initial first. The initial schedule and module behind it would be we would have quarterly training sessions, smaller ones, but every year we would have this where we would bring in one of our partners. The commission, in our recent travels, we've partnered with FCCA, with a training company named Acquia. The Tourist Board has been partnered with CTO for years. The CTO is the Caribbean Tourism Organization, of which, again, the tourism is a part of. So we're now going to be utilizing these partnerships to help certify our operators in the industry, to help them understand the greater level of service that's needed, where the world is moving to in terms of certification, and how it will help them to provide a better service and overall make us a better BVI.
Okay, could you clarify what FCCA is?
The FCCA is the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. They are basically the body of all the major cruise lines, Carnival, Norwegian, Disney. They've come together, they keep these conferences where they conduct workshops. They introduce like different countries where they have cruising alliances to again, persons to do training, if you need help with your training for your operators, and not just operators, for anyone in the industry that tourism affects. They also help with marketing and how you can brand yourself, that kind of stuff. So we're using the training aspect for not just taxi operators, but for tour operators.
Interesting. And now you touched on it before, but how often, if you could reiterate that, how often do you plan on having these academies?
Well, the academy would be the overall thing. What we'll have is 4 different sessions annually. I don't know if you're aware, a taxi driver has to renew their permit every 3 years.
Okay.
So what we're hoping is if we can introduce 4 per year, and over the 3 years that would be 12, we can see to it that operators at least attend half of these, because they would cover different things. They would cover basic customer service. They would cover how to interact with the guests. They would cover things like cultural differences, how we deal with that. They'll cover things like road safety. different facets throughout the industry. So we're hoping that over those 3 years, they could have at least attended one of each session. We're looking at CPR training and that kind of stuff. One of the goals we have at the commission is we want when guests come to the BVI, they can walk away and say they have the best taxi or tour operators throughout anywhere we visited. So this will help us to get that goal.
Okay, it's a lofty goal, very worthwhile. Now, what has been the feeling of persons who, so far, regarding the Taxi Academy, all interested persons? What's their
So far, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, not just from the operators, but from the business community, persons who are not even involved in tourism, because they see the importance of it to the territory. Everybody knows of the economical climate that's going on. And with us now embarking on this new port project, when we started discussing the Taxi Academy and persons got wind of it, they actually contacted us and wanted to know how can we be a part of this. People, like I said, who are not even in the tourism business.
Wow.
And it was very good to know that the community out there wants this to work. We need this to work.
That is very true. Okay, Mrs. Penn, in your professional opinion, why do you think taxi professionals should attend this academy, and what's it designed to do for them?
It is important for taxi professionals to attend this taxi academy because holistically we are trying to move the destination to a destination of excellence. We know that we are not where we are supposed to be as it relates to customer service, and we are trying to get all entities on board, all our stakeholders involved. They need to understand the importance of what they do. They need to understand that they are ambassadors. And being an ambassador is a very important role. You have to speak a common language, and you also have to exude the passion for tourism and for the destination. So this academy is geared towards retooling their minds, giving them strategies how to work in different situations as it relates to crisis management, as it relates to techniques regarding how do you conduct tours. They would be informed as to how to be a better ambassador for the British Virgin Islands.
Okay. Now, you did mention customer service excellence. Now, tell us, for our viewing audience and listening audience, why is good customer service skills so important for our taxi drivers to have?
Well, taxi drivers, whether they realize it or not, they can break a deal or seal a deal. And in the language of tourism, it is repeat business. So how they operate or conduct themselves as it relates to a guest, if they give them a wow experience, guests will definitely be coming back and back to the destination. And that's better for the British Virgin Islands.
Okay, that is so true. How are the sessions set up during the Taxi Academy?
Well, for the first day, all the taxi professionals are encouraged to attend. And then for days 2 and 3, they have an option of deciding which of the sessions they can attend. So they can contact Mr. Percival, or they can contact Mr. Connor Klein at the BVI Tourist Board, 494-3134. And Damien, your number is?
At the commission, they can reach us at 468-4090. But to add to what Ms. Penn was saying, we want the day one to be mandatory. And then it's half-day sessions. So operators can come in the morning and then go back to their regular routines in the afternoon, and then come the next day, whether morning or afternoon, however they see fit. So what we're doing is we're asking, like, the more organized establishments, the taxi stands, the associations, to schedule how their drivers would go, so persons can still have transportation. The independent drivers, we're asking them to do the same thing. Work with your partners to, some come in the morning, some come in the afternoon, because we want it we want everyone to attend. The more persons we feel that are certified would be better for the destination. If we can get 100% certification, that's the next thing we can put on our flyer. 100% CDO certified when you come to the Virgin Islands. So again, these are leading back to the level of excellence that we're aiming for. And so far the response from the operators has been tremendous. They're all eagerly anticipating coming from the sister islands, from the main island, because tourism affects everybody. And to add to it, you know, this new move into for the tourism is not just for taxi operators. This is BVI holistically. But this is going to be like a brainchild and a stepping stone. Once this works, then we can branch out to the rest of the tourism product, which is the BVI, to the hotels, the small businesses, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, very interesting.
And it's also important to reiterate that this is an international certification. It's not one that's just issued by the BVI Tourist Board or the Taxi Commission. It will be internationally recognized. So as it relates to brand recognition from visitors traveling from Europe, Asia, wherever, you know, they would recognize that it's a tourism organization, Caribbean Tourism Organization certification.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, and are there any special presenters for the Academy that you would like to mention right now?
Miss Sharon Banfield Bovell, she will be the presenter for this Taxi Academy. And she's well respected in the industry and has worked with CTO for a few decades. And we are very excited to have her come in to be the facilitator for this workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, and also along with Ms. Sharon, we have some local presenters. We have the colleges doing a presentation. We have the port authorities making a presentation. We have the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. Some of the local businesses, they're all making presentations to the operators as to how to enhance their product. Like with the college, they're going to be speaking about some of the new tour routes that would be going to the college, the Marine Center. If persons know, we have like a small museum up there of the sloops and some of our right, and there's the boardwalk through the mangroves and that kind of stuff. And those are the things that the guests, they like when they come to the BVI. This is a unique experience they can only experience in the BVI. So that's why, you know, we're taking a different approach. It's not just the scenic views or go to the beach. We're showing that there's more to do in the BVI. And this academy is going to help us launch all of these new initiatives to help with repeat guests who have come before and said, oh, I've already done this tour and I've already gone to the beach. What else is there to do in the BVI? If persons recall, one of the things the Premier is asking is, we do have new attractions. So this is not just something we're doing on our own as the Tourist Board and the Commission. This is a government of the BVI initiative. Let's make our product better. Let's make it the best. So we're just helping to facilitate this goal.
Okay, very interesting. Now, before we wrap up, is there anything else either of you would like to add? Mrs. Penn, anything you would like to add? Just to wrap up.
For the taxi professionals, we'll just like to emphasize that guests today are looking for new experiences. It's all about the experience, you know, and let us create experiences in the BVI that they cannot get anywhere else. Whether it's in Barbados, Anguilla, Costa Rica, BVI has unique experiences. You know, so the Taxi Academy is geared towards pulling that creativity from the drivers and helping them to think of new options. How do we integrate technology? How do we facilitate as it relates to a particular crisis? If you have a crisis, that crisis is an opportunity. You know, at the end of the day, they can applaud and say, you know, it was handled very professionally. I will come back to the BVI because, you know, they stand for professionalism, integrity, honesty, and above all, the passion for what they do.
Very good.
Right.
Mr. Percival?
Right, and to add to that, I just want to say, we have excellent operators in the industry. excellent operators. I'd like to take this opportunity to commend one in particular, Mr. Smith. I'm sure you're aware there was a situation where a guest lost a smartphone on his vehicle from the UK. And, as the guest said in their letter commending him, it's not about the phone, but the information was priceless, invaluable. And our taxi operator took the cost upon himself to return that phone to the owner in the UK.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
so these are the people we have as ambassadors. We have great ambassadors. So this academy is not to say we have bad ambassadors and we're trying to train them to be good.
Right.
We have good ambassadors, great ambassadors. We're just we're just sharpening their tools, showing them, okay, the world is moving and we want you to continue to evolve with that. So this academy is in no way trying to say, oh, we have complaints, we have bad people, we're trying to train you. No, it's we have good people. So we want to maintain that level of service and move it forward and introduce new things like Ms. Penn said, technology, where persons can be on Facebook when they come to the BVI, take pictures of the scenery and say, hey, this is where I am, the most beautiful place on earth. And that would also probably generate their friends to then come to the BVI. So it's all part of the marketing tool that we need in the BVI.
Okay. Well, I'll thank you too so much for coming and joining us and explaining to us the importance of this taxi academy and why it's imperative that all of our taxi drivers, they come out, participate, and learn something new or to refresh, as you mentioned, refresh their take on the tourist industry, the tourist product.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The Taxi Academy is scheduled for Monday, August 18th to Wednesday, August 20th at the Eileen L. Parsons Auditorium at H. Lavity Stout Community College from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Registration is on Monday, August 18th from 9:30 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Stay tuned for interviews with our taxi ambassadors. We're here with Mr. Henry of the BVI Taxi Association, and we're going to ask him a few questions. Now, Mr. Henry, have you ever been to taxi training before?
Yes, I have. I have in the past.
Okay, good. And when was the last time you went to training?
It's been a while, about 3-4 years ago.
But when you did go, how have you benefited from that training?
Oh man, it's been great. We learn a lot. We learn a lot about managing your money, learning how to work with your tourists, step up your game, a lot of stuff. We had a 2 or 3 day workshop. I think the last one I attended was at Fort Worth, and the BVI Tourist Board had put it on. And I'm hoping and looking forward to the next one.
Okay, good. So this one's scheduled for Monday, August 18th, the Taxi Academy. Would you recommend it to your fellow taxi drivers?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking forward to it myself. So definitely anyone out there who's seeing this over the weekend or whatever, yes, I highly recommend it.
Okay, and what are you looking forward to the most during this Taxi Academy?
I think from what I was able to read, we have some information that came to us from the Tourist Board and others. There's supposed to be some presentation from the Premier and others that are involved with the cruise development. I think it's important for us to hear firsthand the plans, and see how we as taxi operators will fit into the new development. I'm looking forward to that sort of information. Yeah.
Okay, and so will you be attending the Taxi Academy on Monday?
I hope to, for sure. I definitely would at least try to make it for the first day.
Mr. Walters, have you ever been to taxi training before?
Many of them, madam, many of them.
Okay, and when was the last time you went?
I don't quite remember the date, but it was the last training held at the training center in Wickham's Quay 1 by the cruise ship dock there.
Okay, and how have you benefited from that training?
Tremendously, I would say. And I think all who have attended those workshops, no matter what kind of workshops they are, I think they're they contribute a lot to the well-being of all the taxi drivers in the country.
Okay, so the Taxi Academy that's scheduled to take place on Monday, August 18th, would you recommend that to your fellow taxi drivers?
I welcome it, of course. I think every effort from the Tourist Board or any other organization who establishes these kind of conditions are very welcome, and the owner could be benefit to gain from them.
Okay, have you seen any changes in your business since you've been to any sort of taxi training?
Well, I myself try to intervene if I see things going wrong. I try to correct certain members, no matter whether they're in my stand or any other stand. I like to make sure that they understand what's going on in the industry to make it a better environment for all of us. And that's how I behave. I try to be an ambassador as far as I could to help the other taxi drivers as much as I can and wherever I can.
Okay, good. So will we see you there Monday at the Taxi Academy?
I hope to. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming and explaining the Taxi Academy to us. Government of the Virgin Islands, moving the territory towards stability and growth. For this and other stories, you can log on to www.bvi.gov.vg. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for joining us.